Broadcasting live from SETI Alpha 6 in the Andromeda Galaxy, this is Mr. C.
And happy Aloha Thursday to you, and the Aloha Shirt Parade continues this week. Remember, celebrating next week being off, and this time next week, you will be eating my favorite meal of all time. These three things, I would limit it to these three things. These are the three essential foods of a Thanksgiving meal. I'm just saying, and this is my opinion. Okay? Number one, turkey. My favorite meat, period. I had a turkey sandwich today for lunch. So turkey. Number two, dressing. Okay? Turkey and dressing. And the Pilgrims probably popularized all this yummy food. Maybe we don't. I don't know. We know exactly. So turkey, dressing, and then, of course, any of 4 or 5 different kinds of pies. Probably a small slice of each. Yes, pumpkin, of course. But apple, cherry, blueberry. Pie. So turkey, dressing, and pie. I will limit myself to those 3 foods at the Thanksgiving meal. Are you serious? I'm serious. So don't have any more room. You've only got so much room in the container, in the beaker, in the stomach. So that's it. Turkey, dressing, pie. So you can eat whatever you want. You can go for green beans. Okay, you can eat mashed potatoes. They take up a lot of room and absorb liquid, take up a lot of space. So it's a volume question. How much volume does your stomach have? So what is it, about a liter? And then, you can come back for more later or something. But anyway, about, that much, volume in there, in your stomach. So turkey, dressing, pie. So you can eat the other stuff. You can eat the cranberries all you want. Go for it, cranberries. Okay. You can eat salad and dressing. Go for it. Go for it. Now, I like all those things, just not a Thanksgiving meal. Going for the good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. I'm trying to think what else do people, what are the other things? Some people eat, all kinds of different dishes with corn in them, or, trying to think of other things that show up on the table. And then, this is a little secret, okay? Don't tell that I told you. Sometimes when you have relatives come to the meal, and maybe not so much this year of COVID, but sometimes relatives will bring over their, their sort of favorite dish, that they want to contribute to the Thanksgiving meal. This is a little secret. You and I wouldn't exactly say, it's all that good. Thank you very much, but, so, kind of like at the end of the Thanksgiving meal, the container is still full of whatever that was in that dish. Shh, don't tell. So, don't tell that I talked about that. It's a little Thanksgiving secret, just saying. Okay, so here's what we've got to do. So, you've got observations on the table to earn you points. Now, here we are. It's Thursday. Your test is tomorrow. And your test is on LS 1 through 12, plus Psalm 139, 13, and 14. For you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, and my soul knows it very well. You designed me, God, using my genes, my DNA, my 46 chromosomes. So anyway, so now I've already gone over LS 1 through 9, I think. 1 through 9. I might get to go back to that if I have a little bit of time. Yeah, it looks like LS 9. I did Punnett squares yesterday, phenotypes, genotypes, probability. Yeah, I did that yesterday. Will all that be on the test? Yeah, sure. Most of what I covered yesterday, the day before, this week, it'll be on the test. Okay. So anyway, observations. So on the table. So what do you got? First in the evening, what do you have? So 7:30ish, 7:30 p.m. what do you have available? You've got Jupiter and Saturn high in the southwest. Okay. And then you've got Mars high in the east. By the way, Mars is about as close as it gets. Every 2 years it gets about this close. It's moving away a little bit, but it's still pretty close and pretty bright and pretty beautiful. So anyway, Mars, I'm showing you a photo right now of Mars. You can see why it looks orangish. It's an actual photo from Mars. I'm writing down the time so I know when to put the photo in. So, and then you have, so that's the evening observations. Then you've got the early morning observations at 5:45 a.m. approximately. Now we've already discussed that some of you are going, I ain't going to get up at 5:45, especially on, over Thanksgiving break. Hey, it's an option. You don't have to. Just saying. These things are available up there in the early morning sky. You've got Orion. And right now you're looking at a photo of Orion. And it's pointing down to Sirius. So you've got the top star. So you've got Betelgeuse at the top and then Rigel down at the bottom, the three belt stars pointing down to Sirius. And you see that right now. I've been telling you about that. So sheet of paper, I saw exactly what you saw, parent signature, turn it in. If you turn in both at the same time, you get them all 15 points. If you turn them in singly, so the evening observations separately, the early morning observations separately, 5 points each. It's just the way it is. So, and then you've got the ISS, and the ISS is worth 5 points. My goodness, there's 20 out of 20 points on the table. Why would you not want to take it? I don't know. I don't get it. Okay, tonight, the ISS comes over at 6:36 p.m. I'd stick that in your journal. 6:36 p.m. ISS is coming over, 3-minute pass. The west, southwest to the north-northeast. West-southwest, north-northeast. It doesn't go directly overhead. It's not up long enough, but you ought to be able to see it. And then on Friday, you've got a 5-minute pass of the ISS at 5:48 p.m. So Thursday night, 6:36 p.m. Friday night, 5:48 p.m. And on Friday, it's south-southwest. To the northeast, it'll be more overhead. That's going to be a beautiful pass. I hope that it is clear. And it's going about 17,130 miles an hour. So to defeat the gravity of the Earth. So the gravity of the Earth can't pull it in. So all of that's available, all of that on the table. I hope you will go for it. So should be cool. By the way, last night I looked at Jupiter with my binos and I saw one Galilean moon, which was pretty cool. Mr. C, I didn't ever turn in a Galilean moon opportunity for 5 points. Could I still do it? Yeah, sure. But you've actually got to look carefully and look for a little dot around Jupiter. They're not very big. The 4 moons that Galileo saw with his early 1600s telescope that he invented. So anyway, all of that. So I wanted to show you my hat just for a minute. So this is the New South Wales Blues rugby team. They are again in the state of origin match. They're tied 1-1 with Queensland State, and they play this weekend, I think, in the playoff match. And I think it's played up in Brisbane, I think, Queensland, up in Queensland State, up more closer to the equator. So anyway, I'm pulling for the Blues. Last year I got to go to the final match and see the Blues right at the end of the third match beat Queensland in Sydney. It was amazing. A last-minute try by the New South Wales Blues. So anyway, All right, LS, what are we at? LS, I think it's LS, it is LS10. So I'll give you a chance to get LS10 out, all ready to go. Anything I mentioned today is going to be on the test in one form or another. You're telling us what's on the test? Yeah. Yep. So anyway, you got it? LS10. Okay, that first sentence that's in bold print, put a star by it, underline it right there, that first sentence. Most traits are the result of complex patterns of inheritance. So if I give you a true or false question, true or false, most genetic traits that are inherited by organisms are like simple dominant recessive traits. Answer, no they're not, they're complex. They often involve many genes, many alleles, so from mom, many from dad, and they combine in very complex ways. Yes, you've got dominant and recessive, like in the pea plants, tall was dominant, short was recessive, hidden. So, but anyway, most are complex. And then the three ones that are complex that I want you to know, there's 4 down there in that top box. So I want you to know incomplete dominance, and I want you to know the example. They were snapdragon flowers that are red, that are crossed with white ones. And what do you get? Red or white? Nope. It's a complex pattern. You get an in-between trait. You get pink flowers. So red and white crossed, you get pink. Neither one is dominant. That's why it's called incomplete dominance. Get it close enough there so you can see it. There it is. Incomplete dominance, the snapdragon flowers. Red and white ones, and you get pink. Underneath that, in bold, you have the co-dominance one. So co means equal. So these two traits are crossed, and they both show up. And I think the example was highlighted. So it was the chickens with black feathers crossed with the chickens with white feathers. And what do you get? Both. Both black and white feathers show up in the chicks. So it's co-equal, co-dominant. So you've circled it. The chickens. Okay. And then you've got the polygenic one. Poly means many. So you've got polygenic, many genes is the idea. Some of you really observant students just wrote many and genes over polygenic. Way to go. Some of you are still picking your nose. Huh? What? What happened? Do you see where it says polygenic? I'm kidding. Right there. Polygenic. See it? Right over there. See where I wrote many? Get it lined up right. Many genes. Polygenic. Many genes. Polygenic. So again, complex kind of genetics or inheritance. Many genes from mom, many genes from dad. So not just one, allele from mom and one from dad. Many genes from each. So no example for that one. So those 3 traits in the top box. Whoop. You got to get these lined up right. I know, Mr. C, get with the program. Okay. And then finishing up LS10 down below. How are we doing time-wise? It's 14 minutes in. I'm going to take just a little break so you can get any clarification from Mr. Gilbert, and then I'll be right back to go for the bottom box of LS10, and then we'll do 11 and 12. Okay, I'll be right back. Mr. Gilbert's going to clarify for just a couple of minutes. And hey, I am back. Okay, look at the bottom box, see what it says down below. Highlight that. There'll be a question on that. It says environmental factors can influence genetic traits. See that? Or the way genes are expressed. I'm going to give you an example. Okay? Now, I inherited the ability to be physical kinetic. Some of you are going, yeah, I've watched you walk. I'm not sure. Okay? Well, here's what physical kinetic means. It kind of means like coordinated. You know, I was sort of naturally coordinated, so I was a prime candidate to play sports. So I had a brief 8th grade career in football. So, and then I retired. So, a brief football career. And then I had already been playing baseball, so I put all of my eggs in the baseball basket. So, figure of speech. Now, I was a pitcher. Now, I threw thousands and thousands of pitches to try to get as good as I could at locating the baseball where I wanted to throw it. So, and I was a pretty good high school pitcher, and I played 1 year of college baseball. So, I threw a 4-seam fastball like that. So, I held it like that, and a 4-seam fastball. I threw an overhand curveball like this, and the ball rotated like that, and then dropped some. Okay. Then I threw a changeup like this, palm ball, to try to make it look like it was going to be a fast pitch, and then I threw a slower pitch to try to get them to swing early. So, anyway, now look what it says. It says you may have inherited the ability to play a musical instrument, but if you don't have an opportunity to learn and practice, you know, that gene isn't going to be expressed so much. So I inherited a relatively coordinated body, and because of it, I became a pretty good baseball player. When I didn't pitch, I played second base. So, and I was pretty good at fielding ground balls and turning the double play and that kind of thing. So anyway, but I had to practice. I had to develop the genetic latent ability that was there. Some of you too. You've got all kinds of abilities. So at this point, here's what I'm encouraging you to do. So practice, develop those abilities, develop them. Really work at something, or several somethings. You'll get good. You probably know the 10,000. How do I say this? The 10,000 practice rule. I'll say it that way. If you do something like 10,000 times over and over the right way, you'll get really good at it, no matter what it is. Did you throw that many pitches? Probably. Probably way more than that. Did I get to where I could locate a pitch pretty much where I wanted it? Yeah. So, now, God bless me and use baseball in my life. So, I'm really thankful for it. So, because I love baseball, I still love to throw baseballs and footballs. It's fun. I just always have loved to throw. So I'll look you up in heaven, bring your baseball glove with you to heaven, and I'd love to play catch with you. So I'm not planning on going anytime soon. Just saying. But will we get to do things like that in heaven? Who knows? Hope so. Be cool, wouldn't it? Okay, now look over here on this side right here. It says some environmental factors. Do you see it? I want to make sure you get it. Here it is, down here. Down here in the bottom box. Okay? Right there. Right up there. Some environmental factors can affect your genes. Smoking. Smoking, for instance. Smoking can change the genes in your lungs, make them mutate and form tumors. Cancer cells. A bunch of cancer cells, a tumor cell. And lung cancer from smoking is often fatal. And don't I know that? My dad started smoking to relieve his stress during World War II. And he quit when he was 36 years old. But he still, when he was 76, 40 years later, got cells that mutated in his lungs and formed lung cancer. That took him to heaven. So, anyway, Mr. C, how many cigarettes have you smoked in your life? 0. Now, it wasn't because I was such a godly guy or moral person. It was because I wanted to keep my body healthy so I could be a good baseball player when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And then I really started to grow as a Christian, and there was no way I would have ever thought about smoking, knowing how bad it was. So anyway, certain environmental factors can affect how genes express themselves. So I'm just saying, okay? So my encouragement to you is don't ever let anyone try to talk you into smoking. Now, if someone says to you, oh, just try one. So try one. A friend. By the way, what kind of friend are they? If they're trying to get you to do something that could cause you to become addicted, nicotine is highly addictive, the chemical in cigarettes. So how much do they really love you or care about you? Not really. No, they don't. A lot of times they're just trying, they feel guilty and they're just trying to get other people to do it too, and they feel less guilty. So don't ever think about it. Don't even think about ever starting to smoke. Just a really bad decision, and it could be a fatal decision eventually. Just saying. All right, LS11. So at the top, look where it says, how are chromosomes, genes, and inheritance related? So see this right at the top? See what I put? You put that at the top too. Mitosis is one cell division. Can you put that? It's not an option. You've got to all be doing it. Mr. Gilbert is encouraging it right now as he wanders around. Mitosis, one cell division. Got it down? Getting it? You remember with mitosis, it's part of cell division, right? Part of the steps of cell division. So mitosis, the cells only divide once, so you start off with 46 chromosomes. They duplicate, one step, and the nucleus duplicates, and then they divide and they both have the same 46 chromosomes. Like your skin cells, they are constantly dividing. Okay, 46 chromosomes, they duplicate, now there's 92, they migrate to each cell, it splits, each one has 46 again, the same 46. Mitosis. Okay, so now it's a little different and I want you to highlight this up in the top box. There's a guy by the name of Walter Sutton. Do you see him up there? Right there. See Walter? Good old Walter in the early 1900s. Can you see that? Come on, Mr. C, get it. There he is. Walter Sutton. What did he do? He noticed, now he worked with grasshoppers. He noticed that in sperm and egg cells of grasshoppers, they each had only half of the total chromosomes. I think the grasshoppers had, what was the total? They had 24 chromosomes. So in the sperm there were 12, and in the egg there were 12, and they combined, and now you had 24 in this grasshopper species. So he figured out that sperm and egg cells only have a half of the number of cells, so that when they combine, you have the total number 24. The same thing in human sperm and eggs. So in a human sperm and egg cell, show me on your fingers, what would be your hypothesis? How many chromosomes? I'll give you a hint. The human chromosome number is 46 chromosomes. 46. So how many do you think there are in a human sperm cell and a human egg cell? Half, of course. So what's half of 46? 23, and 23 make 46. Okay. So half. So sperm and eggs have half. So I want you to make sure that you know that. Now I want you to cross off the bottom box. Cross off the bottom box. In the top box, you've got all that we just went over. And over on this side right here, can we put this here? Yeah, that's it. That's all I want you to know in the top box. Just, here it is right here, and I'll ask you about this, probably a true or false question. Highlight this, sorry. Over here, according to the chromosome theory of genetics or inheritance, genes pass from parents to offspring in chromosomes. So your mom and dad's chromosomes were passed on to you in your zygote, which eventually became you 9 months later, with the genetic pattern that your mom and dad shared with you. That's why you have some traits, characteristics like your mom and some like your dad. You're a combination of your mom and dad's genotype. And that's why in your phenotype, your physical traits, probably some people say, oh, you look like your mom in this way or that way. Oh, you look like your dad in this way or that way. Yeah, that's because you got their chromosomes. 23 of mom's chromosomes and 23 of dad's chromosomes. Okay, all of that in the top box. Top box. Top box only. Okay, LS12, last lesson summary. Got a lot of stuff, and I have 9 minutes to do this. Okay, so at the top is that repeat of that idea. See it at the top? It's the chromosome theory of intelligence. Parents, there it is, pass traits to their offspring through chromosomes. So highlight that sentence. Now, in the photo that you're looking at, you are seeing chromosomes. You're seeing chromosomes. Actually, you should be seeing right now 23 pairs of chromosomes. Pairs. So what's 23 pairs total? 46. Your total chromosome number. I guarantee one of the test questions is going to be, how many chromosomes do humans have in their first cell, in their zygote? 46. Guaranteed. It's the human chromosome number. 46. So, here's what I want you to do next. So, down below, I want you to put, see where I put 46 chromosomes, have 25,000 genes in them. Oops, there you go. 46 chromosomes have approximately 25,000 genes in them, which has a DNA code. DNA is made of 4 building blocks. And I'm going to ask you about those. AT and CG. AT, CG, the DNA code, ATCG. And I'm going to ask you these. So, now, if you will look in the top box on the left side, have you got it? Top box, left side, down at the bottom. It tells you what the 4 building blocks are that DNA is made of. It's the DNA code. I'm going to ask you about this. This is the last thing or two we're going to do. So AT always goes together and CG goes together. What does A stand for? Circle it. Now I dropped my black pen. There it is. So I'll circle these for you, and I will ask you these. A stands for adenine. T stands for thymine, G stands for guanine, and C stands for cytosine. By the way, I'll back up and show you this really quick. See that? Your dad and mom provide a sperm 23 chromosomes. Egg, 23 chromosomes. Your zygote, 46 chromosomes. Okay, so you've got that. All right, here are the 4 building blocks of DNA, of the DNA code. A is adenine. I'll show you these. Should I learn these? Yep. A and T always go together. T is thymine. So A, T always go together. So I'm going to put them together. There they are. These are the building blocks of the DNA code. This is it. Now it's like I'm writing on the board now. DNA code building blocks. There's 4 of them. That's it. Mr. C, I can learn 4 of them. I hope so. A for adenine. Now you're putting these down. Mr. Gilbert's encouraging it, watching it. So there you go. The DNA code building blocks. A, adenine, T, thymine. And they go together. That's why I circle them. They always go together. There are 2 other building blocks of the DNA code. C for cytosine. Say that. Cytosine. That's how you spell it. C for cytosine. So adenine, thymine, they go together. AT. And C, cytosine, and G for guanine. Say that out loud. Guanine. Mr. C, I'll bet you cytosine and guanine always go together in the genetic code. Yep, they do. So cytosine couldn't go together with adenine or thymine. They don't express themselves that way. Now here's the way the DNA code works. Each gene, this is going to blow your mind. Each gene that you have, and you have maybe 25,000 genes in your 46 chromosomes. Stay with me. Concentrate. In your 46 chromosomes, each chromosome has, in some cases, several thousand genes. Though each gene can be made of up to 1 million of these building blocks. Oh my, does that mean then that the DNA code is so complex you can have so many different patterns? Oh yeah, you can have gazillions of patterns. That's why DNA proves there's got to be a God. Now I'm just going to show you a simple DNA code. So it could be AT, and then it could be GC, because they always go together. GC, TA, CG, AT, and then GC. Now this is a very simple genetic code down below. Very simple. But you see, again, adenine and thymine always go together in the code, and guanine and cytosine always go together. They can be reversed as far as which one's first. See that? They can be reversed. This is a DNA code right here. But remember, you can have, in one gene, you can have up to 1 million of these. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. I know. That's why there's got to be a God. You know, there's just got to be a God. So it's just over the top. Over the top. So I'm writing myself a note. Okay, so here it is again. Your 46 chromosomes have 25,000 genes in them. The genes have the DNA code. And it's that complex DNA code that makes you and I look like no other human. Do you know identical twins, even though they've got mostly the same genetic code, it's still slightly different. Even identical twins, slightly different. So, of the, who knows, of the 8 billion humans that have lived in human history, I'm guessing, not one looked like another one because of a slightly different or very different genetic code. And every living thing has their own genetic code. Their own number of chromosomes with their own genetic code pattern. It's how God makes diversity, everything different. Isn't that cool? What he does? By the way, we still haven't totally figured out the genetic code. We know a lot more than we knew 100 years ago. We know a lot more than Gregor Mendel knew 170 years ago. A lot more, but still, we've got a long way to go. Will we ever totally unravel the DNA code? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. So anyway, those are the major things from LS12. So study it. Here's the biggie down below. Your zygote is made of 46 chromosomes, which is made of 25,000 genes, which can have up to 1 million DNA building blocks in it. A and T building blocks always go together. Adenine and thymine, and cytosine and guanine always go together. They can be reversed, but they always go together in the genetic code. And no human has the exact same genetic code. So study your packet of lesson summaries and Psalm 139, 13, and 14. And there might be a few little bitty minutes left, so I'll turn it over to Mr. Gilbert to decide what to do with those few remaining minutes. Triple R, triple R. So test tomorrow. So see you back tomorrow for an introduction. Adios.